From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Joe Daniel. We are live as always. Sports Scene is an interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com, Twitter at Greg Bick, and you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com in the contact section as well. Thank you to our military for what you do 24/7. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Our featured guest today will be Vicki Trexler, the president of the Norfolk Sports Club. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, HROnlineMall.com is, of course, the Twitter handle. Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com is the website. Browse, shop, visit HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 locations in Virginia Beach. Phone line presented by the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. It's coming up October 19th through the 21st. And the show is presented by Hampton Roads Sports and Media Hall of Fame. Their website, of course, hrsmhof.com. Old Dominion, Virginia Tech. Good luck, Old Dominion, on this game this weekend. You're not playing exactly Massachusetts this weekend. UVA, Boise State, they go at it. Notre Dame at Michigan State. Of course, great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary. What teased me off? Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene Weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists as well. You can connect 92.5 FM, 1650 AM. Of course, we'll be on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook later for the archive. Online right now on your phone or your computer, go to tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen to the show on your phone or your computer. You can follow the show on TuneIn as well and subscribe to GJB.TV.com on YouTube. Sports Scene will continue after this.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene live on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer, at Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC. It's a pleasure in the studio to talk to Vicki Trexler. She is the president of the Norfolk Sports Club. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Good
Thank you for having me.
Aren't you glad, first of all, this nice weather we're having?
Oh, I love it. It's wonderful.
It's almost fall here, of course, and we're gearing up for all the great fall sports and winter sports. Let's talk about Vicki Trexler. How did you get involved in sports?
I got involved in sports. Well, I've always been a sports fan. Always watched the Redskins, big Redskin fan ever since I can remember. My grandfather watched baseball, so it's always been around. And my late husband was an absolute walking sports encyclopedia. And I figured the best way to learn more was to get involved in the sports club. So in the mid-'80s, I started volunteering, doing work up at the at their golf tournament up in Williamsburg. And when I opened my wine shop in '88, the first thing I did was join the sports club.
Mm-hmm. That was a great event too, and the men are here. Of course, the women are here as well too. But the Orion Burkhart and the people at Kingsmill really poured it out for the volunteers too.
Oh yes, they did. It was a great event. I miss having that. But times change, and there's so many golf tournaments going on now. It just became kind of a logistical nightmare. So,
and that's true too, because that's exactly right, Vicki. Because there's so many golf tournaments, but life has changed. Demands on time have changed. People are so consumed with getting from to and fro, and of course their phone, and that can also affect live attendance as well.
It does. The millennials nowadays are not joiners. They don't get the newspaper. I'm a dying breed. I still get a newspaper every day, but they live on their iPads, they live on their telephones, they live on their computers, and they watch their TV, they watch the movies. Everything's on on electronics, so they're just not involved in the real life things like they used to be.
It's like a catch-22 situation. My dad told me a long time ago, if you can get tomorrow's news today, you're ahead of the game. And kind of that's what the online industry is all about. The newspapers have deadlines. It's earlier and earlier now, and you can basically read a story on the phone that's going to appear in the paper tomorrow.
Absolutely. And it's just amazing. The other thing is networking. There was a lot of networking back in the day when our golf used to be our golf outings where if you didn't get in a reservation early, you didn't get to play. But there was a lot of networking out on there. A lot of people joined the sports club because they were interested in sports, but they were also interested in business. And so, but now everybody networks on a computer.
Right, or more or less emails or go to meeting, these meetings on online or internet or Skyping and so forth. We're talking to Miss Vicki Trexler. She's the president of the Norfolk Sports Club. The Norfolk Sports Club's got a rich tradition in Hampton Roads.
We've been around since 1944. We are the second oldest sports club in the nation, right behind the New York Athletic Club. I am the 75th president of this, and it's just been a wonderful ride. I've been president since January, and I will finish my term in January. And next year, as ex officio, I will take care of our scholarship foundation, which is really the core of what we do, is helping today's youth become leaders of tomorrow. And we do this by giving scholarships to area athletes from area schools going to Virginia colleges. Not only this, but we have given over $1.5 million in scholarships to these kids, and it's extremely rewarding, and it's really wonderful. $2,000 a piece, and that's a big scholarship for some of these kids.
Right, your gala is usually in March, right?
Jamboree is somewhere
February, March,
in that era. So we try to get it late enough so we're past college football, but early enough if we have a baseball that we beat that. So it just depends on who's speaking. And last year I had Justin Fuente for my jamboree, along with Bobby Wilder of ODU, and Jimmy Laycock, coach at William & Mary. And it was a wonderful evening, and we had a blast with these guys.
Such a great tradition in the Norfolk Sports Club. I've been involved with the Peninsula Sports Club, and that's just one area, but Norfolk's a city all to itself, but it pretty much encompasses the South Side, even though Portsmouth, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach have clubs as well. You're like the signature club.
We are, and that's nice. And we also have people who do belong to Virginia Beach or Chesapeake also belong to us. So and I've been to the Chesapeake Jamboree, and they do a great job. And we all support each other. And Chesapeake usually has a table at our Jamboree. We have a table at their Jamboree. So we all help each other, and it's just a wonderful camaraderie with all these sports enthusiasts around the area. I
mentioned weather at the outset, but sometimes weather has been an issue with the Jamboree.
Oh, yes. We had to cancel a Jamboree 2 years ago because of the snow. Who would think here in Hampton Roads we would have a snow issue, but we did. So,
right. Well, you talk about sports in the area, too, and you had a shop not by Old Dominion. It's amazing how Old Dominion's university has grown in academics, athletics, and activities, all three.
Absolutely. I was a big supporter when I had my shop of Wendy Larry and the girls' basketball team and the boys' basketball team. So they used to come over and order sandwiches for us, and I would pack them up for them to take on road trips. And my late husband and I always had season tickets to the men's and women's basketball. And I kept that tradition up for many years, but I don't have tickets anymore. But I do go with the sports club. So we buy boxes and at some of these events and go as a group.
You mentioned that, too, with Wendy Larry. When she was here, they had pretty good crowds. Karen Barefoot, who's a good friend of mine, she moved on to North Carolina and Wilmington.
Hated to see her go.
Right. She had so much energy, and that's the one thing I'm wondering about the new coach. She's not a ball of fire like Karen is, and one thing Karen did very well was she ignited the crowd, and she got people excited because she was just a ball of energy.
She's a great motivator, but I tell you, Nikki's been over to speak to us, and I am really impressed with her. I think she's going to be really great. She hasn't done any recruiting yet for what she has, so I'm really excited about this season with her. She's a ball of fire. She's got a lot of energy and spunk. And
of course, she has Tennessee roots.
Yes.
You can't go wrong there. We're talking with the Norfolk Sports Club's president, Miss Vicki Trexler. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. At Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC. You mentioned the millennials, but social media is a big part of the Norfolk Sports Club.
Social media is. We have a Facebook page. We have a website. We're on Twitter. So you can go write to Facebook and look up Norfolk Sports Club, or to our website, norfolksportsclub.com, and see who our upcoming speakers are. You can learn about the club. You can find out when our meetings are. We welcome anybody to come to one of our meetings. We meet twice a month at Hits in the Park at the downtown baseball field. So love to have you come out and hear somebody.
Yeah, Tides and Admirals are a big part of Norfolk as well. And, of course, how many female presidents have there been in the Norfolk?
I'm the second.
Second one. So out of 75, you said.
Out of 75.
So, well, that's still, that's a thing, too, that women are involved in sports.
Absolutely.
And, of course, there are a lot of women sports fans out there. And, of course, I think a good thing with you being the president is you're getting more women involved.
Yes, it is. And we have several women, and I've got my eye on one in particular. I'd like to see her go through the chairs. It's a 5-year commitment. You, as second vice president, you're in charge of golf. As first vice president, you get the speakers. Third, as president-elect, your job is to put on the jamboree. And then you go to president, and as ex officio, you run the scholarship foundation.
But you pretty much have your hand involved in everything.
Oh, yes.
Because you multitask when you own a business.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that tailgating in sports.
Oh,
you
what a great combination.
You saw it firsthand.
Absolutely.
Talk about what you used to own.
I used to own a wine shop, and we did sandwiches, and we used to do things called tailgate totes, and people would just come in and pick them up and walk out, or we'd cater for them. And we catered for as few as 2 people. A doctor came in one time and wanted a romantic birthday dinner for his wife, so that was for 2. And then I did a 500-person thing for the city one time. So
that's great. That's great. We're talking with Vicki Trexler. She's also very involved with pets, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Kraig Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on Sports Scene. It is 12:18 right here on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. What's been the biggest challenges? Because, you said you had the shop, but it takes a lot of time, talent, and treasure to run a club and get the word out. Like you said, the big thing is the senior citizens have more time than people that are working business hours.
Yes. Millennials don't seem to have, like I said, don't seem to have the interest. They do everything electronically. So our club is a lot of older people, and we are working very hard to attract younger people. And we have a young man that's going to go through the chairs that he looks like he's about, I'm not sure how old Akeem is, but I think he's about 35. So it's nice to see some younger people starting to get in. And we recruit, trying to get people to join us. And we have a lot of fun. Our speakers are great. We have some really well-known speakers, and some of our better speakers are actually some of the lesser-known people. In next month, we have Bobby Ross coming up, and we have Jeff Jones from ODU. He's coming in another month or so. So we've had a really good year. Jack Ankerson is our president-elect, and he's been in charge of speakers this year. And no, I'm sorry, he's not president-elect. Joe Monaco is. Jack is second vice president, and this is the second time he's going through the chairs. So he is a devout person. But his speakers this year have been amazing.
Right, Jack used to host a show here when I was at George Mason. We didn't have a football team, so I'd go to the University of Maryland to do radio updates on then WTAR, and Jack, of course, was the MC. He's had his hands involved in a lot of things as we're talking about the Norfolk Sports Club to Miss Vicki Trexler as well. All right, pets. Pets are a big part of your life.
Absolutely.
So there are people that like small dogs and big dogs. Have you ever wondered why that is?
It's just personal preference. Mm-hmm. Some people like to dress wild and crazy. Some people like to dress conservatively. It's just, it's just personal taste.
A lot of dog shows have been on TV over the years, too, at sporting events.
It's nice to see them starting to show more and more. Used to be just Westminster. Now they have the Eukanuba. They do at Thanksgiving right after the Macy's Day Parade. There's the National Dog Show. So they're more and more being televised.
How did you get involved in that?
I had always been interested in it, and years ago I was at a horse show in Ocala, Florida, and found a Pembroke Welsh Corgi that I had been looking for a long time. So I brought her home and wanted to get involved in showing, and called a friend where we fox hunted, and I knew she had Corgis, and she referred me to a breeder in Maryland who referred me to a breeder up in Whitestone who said, "Why are you calling me? You've got Anna Wyatt right here in your backyard in Pungo." So I called her. She evaluated my dog, said that she was really nice, would do well, but I'd have to give her up for a while, and I really wasn't ready to do that. And anyway, she encouraged me to get into showing, and here I am 6 years later. I've bred champions, and I'm leaving for St. Louis on Monday for a week.
Well, let's talk about showing. Who wins the prizes? Because the dogs don't go to the bank.
No, you don't. You don't get in it
What do
for
you
the
win?
money.
What do you win?
Ribbons,
That's it.
bragging rights.
Even the big ones on national TV.
They'll win something, but basically it's all about pride, and it's bragging rights, and you put your heart and soul. You'll never make any money out of this. The old joke is how to make a small fortune. We'll start with a large fortune.
So it's not like NASCAR where the drivers get sponsors.
No.
The sponsors are out of
You can get sponsors.
Right.
That happens, and that's wonderful. My partner had a sponsor for a dog that she bred. He was the #1 corgi in the nation, corgi dog, male corgi. For 2 years running, we went to Westminster, which was just great. But he did have a sponsor, and that the sponsors come along once in a blue moon, but that's really nice to get one.
Most of them are in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Your own pocketbook.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we're talking to Vicki Trexler from the Norfolk Sports Club and also talking about pets as well. This segment is brought to you by Sakura Japanese Restaurant, Sushi Bar, Takeout, Dine-In. They deliver on OrderUp.com, Walmart Way Crossing. Give them a call at 410-4577 and get some delicious Japanese cuisine, great sushi at Sakura at 1437 Sam's Drive at the Walmart Way Crossing. As far as you mentioned clubs in general and people's time, we talked about that earlier. Getting people involved in any club or activity, especially in the fall and the winter when it gets dark earlier, just to get them away from their kids or running errands or work demands. We're all overworking now. We're everywhere. That's tough to get them in actually meetings to talk about it or to get new people involved. That's always a challenge, recruitment.
It is a challenge, and our meetings are lunch meetings on Monday, and sometimes that's hard for people who are working a full work week, is after the weekend to come in and say, hey, I need 2 hours off. Our meetings start, lunch starts at 11:45, and we finish by 1 o'clock. So we try to keep it compact for someone who is able to get off work to come. So we do everything we can to make it easy for people to come.
Right. Of course, it's very convenient, the location.
Yes, it's in the park.
Right. As far as the future, as far as the Norfolk Sports Club, what else are you looking for 2018 and beyond? What is the mission? Is there like goals each year you're trying to achieve besides getting new members and guests?
Well, our mission is helping today's youth become leaders of tomorrow, and our mission is really our scholarship foundation. This is very important to us, and we have a board, and we have money that we invest, and every year we sit down and see. Of course, it depends on how the market's going, is how much we're able to give. But usually we give somewhere around 15, give or take, $2,000 scholarships out to area children.
That's right. There's a lot of colleges around this area alone. All right, you mentioned the Redskins. I'm going to put you on the spot. They're 1-1 right now.
Lord.
That's a very deceiving 1-1. They got to play the Raiders Sunday night. And night games are never easy. And I've always told this stuff to other athletes as well, that it's tough when you wake up in the morning and you primarily work during the day and your energy is high during the morning, afternoon. To sit around all day and to physically exert yourself at 8:30 at night on a football game can be very difficult.
Absolutely, I would think so. Yeah, just the tension building during the day would get to me.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Redskins so far, 1-1?
I love them. That's all I can say. They're my team. They have been for years, and you have to be a strong person to be a diehard Redskin fan. They have unfortunately disappointed, but that first game this season was just tough. We looked a lot better last week. My fingers are crossed for this coming week.
Yeah, W's do erase bad memories. Wins.
Yes, they do.
Right, and I know this. The owner has taken a lot of criticism over the years. Not as much now. He's calmed down. But you got to remember, he was in his early 30s when he owned that team. And how many men are mature at 30 to 35 years old? Not many. And he took a lot of heat for that.
I think he has matured. I used to say if he could just keep him up in his box and his mouth taped, maybe we'd have a better. But it seemed like he just chased everybody off.
Right, and of course, he used to own the radio station where I worked at as well, 102.1, 1490 The Game, of course, and he owned it for 6 years right there on Greenwich Road, not too far from some of the hotels that the Norfolk Sports Club has met before. And so he owned the station. He still owns stations in D.C., and, of course, he owned them in Richmond before he got rid of them, and he's owned other operations as well. He's still very young, in his early 50s as well, Daniel Snyder. But I finally met him during the summer at a preseason game against the Bengals in August, and he came into the TV booth where Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were. I'm a stage manager for Fox as well, and finally I said, Mr. Snyder, thank you for the opportunity, because his suite is right next to the TV suite at the Redskins Stadium, so it's really cool, but he's very guarded, he's very private, extremely private, and he's got security all around him, but it was nice that I had a chance to say that to him.
That is nice. I'm sure that was a great time for you, but I think he's doing better. I'm glad to see him keeping his mouth shut and not getting involved in the lineups and everything else that he was involved in early on. It's let the coach, let the special teams do their thing, and you do your thing. Be the owner.
Right, kind of like the president of the Norfolk Sports Club. You have people delegating.
Absolutely. I have a great team. Believe me, my jamboree this year was amazing with all the help that I had. Next month, we have our reverse raffle coming up, which will be at Zuleika Court on the 23rd of this month. It's great. The tickets are $100 a piece. For that, you get Rodman's famous barbecue and fried chicken dinner, cocktails, and a chance to win a $5,000 prize or some other consolation prizes.
Everything is geared towards food. You know that.
Absolutely.
Food and beverages. But back to Mr. Snyder, he is not as hands-on and manipulative as the owner of the Cowboys is Jerry Jones. He speaks at press conferences. Snyder's the total opposite. He does not want to talk to anybody.
Jerry Jones has had a winning team for a long time.
Right, but he hasn't gone to the Super Bowl
not in a
either.
while.
Yeah. The Redskins are just trying to get to the playoffs consistently. As we were talking to Vicki Trexler, the president of the Norfolk Sports Club, Kraig Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. 1650 AM, 92.5 FM as well. Your final thoughts on why people should join the Norfolk Sports Club?
We're a great club. We do great things, and we have a great time, and we have great speakers. So come out and join us.
And, of course, the website, norfolksportsclub.com.
And we're also on Twitter and Facebook.
Very good. Oh, it's very nice chatting with you. And, of course, all the best to you and your family and continued success with the Norfolk Sports Club.
Thank you very much. Very
good. Also want to thank Joe Daniel as well. We'll come back for the next half hour. And just a reminder, too, folks, Panera is now the only nationwide chain that can say every item is 100% clean as well. They deliver. They also do catering too. Panera Bread right there in Harborview in Suffolk. They got soups, sandwiches, salads, breakfast, beverages, bagels, as well as delicious smoothies. It's still kind of like summer-like weather out at 6255 College Drive in Suffolk. Give them a call at 483-3670. And for more, log on to PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be as well. All right, sports thing, we got the Hampton Cup Regatta. They've been on a few weeks ago. They're going to come back on again to plug their event coming up this weekend right here in Hampton, Virginia. Should be a great event right here in Hampton Roads. The Hampton Cup Regatta, September 23rd and 24th at Fort Monroe, free admission. All right, stay tuned with Sports Scene. We'll continue after these messages.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Kraig Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com.
All right, again, I want to thank Vicki Trexler, the president of the Norfolk Sports Club, for joining us right here on Sports Scene. Don't forget gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link and visit all the pages of gjbtv.com, Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com, and hrsmhof.com. Question presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to Joe Daniel. Do you think with all the communication we have by phone, text, email, and messenger, is that number one or number two as far as communication now? Kind of like when I was talking with Vicki Trexler. Do you think that all the technology has taken over the verbal and face-to-face?
Absolutely. Verbal face-to-face is secondary. The main means of communication is written. And whether it be in a text message form or messenger, even Skyping or something like that is pretty rare, even though it is technology-based. But I think that kind of dynamic is mostly like with family or something, grandparents with kids or something like that. But the main way, messaging all the way.
Right, because it takes a lot of energy to make phone calls, I guess. Not as much energy to text.
Precisely.
All right, let's welcome back Kraig Cole from the Hampton Cup Regatta. You've seen his commercial on Channel 3, Channel 4, Channel 10, Channel 13. Thanks to yours truly, of course. Getting great times, too. Free admission at Fort Monroe. He's also been on Sports Highlights and Newport News. Good to see you. The weekend is here.
It's coming, and we're got some awesome weather coming, man. 82 degrees and sunny. So we're going to tear it up this weekend.
Perfect timing as far as weather.
Absolutely. We were watching these hurricanes go out in the Atlantic. We were a little nervous, but when we started seeing the way they were tracking, we're like, okay, good. We got somebody out there looking out for us. We're looking forward to this weekend. Everything has come together. We've got our boaters pre-registering. We've got our guys coming in. Our vendors are set. They're hyped. They're ready. We've got a lot of new folks coming out on the bridge this year. And our committee, most of all, we work all year long tirelessly on this, and we're all volunteer. And we're hyped. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock, and everything is set. And we have one more meeting tonight. So I told you, you got your stuff together or you don't. So
right. Well, one thing too, the big deal this year is changing the dates and the months.
Yeah, changing the date and the month this year was a decision we made last fall, because we do start planning for the following year right after we get done with one race. And one consistent comment we kept hearing from spectators, sponsors, racers, everything: it's hot. August is hot. And I'm really thankful we did this year, because the weekend that we would have went to this year in August, if we'd stuck in August, was a complete rain-out weekend. That was the weekend, I think, the 11th and 12th this year. And we're just so thankful we got this weekend, and we are ready to go.
Right. Another perfect example, too, is you don't have to worry about the Redskins or the Cowboys. The Redskins are playing Sunday night, and the Cowboys are playing Monday night.
Right.
So those are the two biggest sports teams around here.
Absolutely. The only thing that maybe interfere a little bit is the Tech game, and that's on Sunday. So come out and see us Saturday, or did I have my dates reversed?
Tech is playing Saturday.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
They're playing. They're playing against Old Dominion, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm ODU alum, and my daughter goes to Tech, so I'm kind of conflicted who I should root for.
They can keep up that on their device and still come to the Hampton Cup Regatta. All right, the
Absolutely.
Hampton Cup Regatta's got free admission. It's at Fort Monroe, the oldest continuing running powerboat event in the country. We're going to take a short break, come back with a special guest, and Kraig will continue. It's a free event, too, folks. At Greg Bick on Twitter after these messages.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene right here. Greg Bick on Twitter. Glad you're with us. Hope you enjoyed listening to Miss Trexler from the Norfolk Sports Club. And, of course, Kraig Cole from the Hampton Cup Regatta has been on Sports Scene a few times, also Sports Highlights. And Kraig Cole, introduce our next guest.
Hey, what we have here is coming up is Tony Black. He's a national modified driver, and he's a personal friend of mine, I'm proud to say. Tony, you online with us, buddy?
Tony.
Yeah, I'm with you, Craig. How are you?
Hey, man, how's it going? You're all set for this weekend, right?
Yeah, we are, man, I'll tell you, we are locked and loaded. We are very, very excited about making the trip down to Hampton from, we're all from the Columbus, Ohio area, and Hampton is always one of those must-do dates on our calendar.
And it makes me feel good to hear you say that, man. It really does. We've been chit-chatting over the past few months about the event coming up, and you're actually gonna have the Sun toy out there on display for us at the kickoff party at Oozle Finch, right?
Yeah, it is correct. Yeah, we're excited to be a part of that. As always, the generosity of the Hampton Cup Regatta Committee and the people surrounding that area, they roll out the red carpet for us. So we want to be there for them to give something back.
Absolutely. We really appreciate that. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, the kickoff party is going to be at Oozle Finch Craft Brewery at 81 Patch Road on Fort Monroe. And that'll start about 6 o'clock, and we'll have Drew Ballantyne playing music for us starting about 6:30. But most importantly, we'll have multiple boats out there on display that you can come out and see these wonderful machines up close and personal, talk to the drivers and whatnot. And Tony, one of the things we were talking about earlier today was take us through what you're doing getting ready for race time, kind of like 1 hour out, 15 minutes out, getting in the water, that kind of thing.
Typically, Team Newman, we use a checklist, Craig. As many years as we've been involved in the sport, we find that if we just dot all of our I's, cross all of our T's, where you go through a checklist and methodically set up the boat to get ready for that day's racing. We also use the checklist in between heats. But we'll go through the checklist and make sure that we've hit every system in the boat. We've fueled up. We've checked the oil. We've put on the propeller. We've put in the drain plugs, et cetera. You'd be surprised at how many times those little things are forgotten, and those are the ones that bite you.
Right.
So
I've seen the
drain
drain plug thing more than once.
Get the boat prepared to go into the water.
Yeah, I've seen the drain plug thing more than once bite somebody. But
so as long as we can, again, I'm sure that the NASCAR teams do something very similar, but we just want to make sure that when we're ready to go racing, that we leave no stone unturned, that we're ready to get in the water and get after it.
All right. One thing I noticed and last year when we were doing some talks radio on Saturdays with Chuck Hall over at Langley Speedway, I'd always give the guys a hard time saying, all right, man, you're coming out of your RV, you got your flight suit on, you got your racing suit on, you're putting on your helmet, you're like Tom Cruise and Top Gun coming out, getting in that thing. Anybody who hadn't seen these machines fly across the water, these boats will go across the water at 150 miles an hour. Can you describe what that feels like or even looks like, Tony?
Well, Craig, simply put, the sensation that you feel over water versus land is about 3 times what you would feel in a normal car. So if you're traveling, 50 mile an hour on water, it feels like you're 150. Maybe not that fast, but it's certainly double what you would feel in a car. So if you're 150 mile an hour, effectively everything comes at you is blurry except for your tunnel vision, what you see directly out in front of you. Right. If you look over towards the shore, you may pick something out, but trust me, if you look back for it, it's gone. You've passed it, because at those speeds, we're traveling upwards of a football field a second.
That's right. These things are flying across. We actually were on Channel 3 this morning with Dave Coase, the Demon Chaser driver, G&H class, and he was talking about the spotters, what they do for him. His wife is his spotter. Who's your spotter?
The owner of the boat does the spotting for me. We have two-way radio communication from the shore, and what we've done here in the last few years is there's actually a radio corral where all the radio people have to be in that corral to talk to their drivers. And that's typically right around the judges' stand. The reason for that is if there's an incident on the race course, they're immediately notified. There's no lag in communication. My owner will tell me, hey, if it's a red flag, shut everything down. In the interest of safety, the two-way communication, because at those speeds, they're your eyes and ears that you can't see. They're talking you through what's happening around you, behind you, and also out in front of you. So it's just an added feature for safety for us.
Right. That's one thing we've talked about before on numerous interviews is the safety factor that we have in place. We have the best water rescue team available with APBA Region 4. These guys are on point. They're tracking the course, the field course as they're coming around. And if there is an incident, we never want to see one. But those guys, if they see something, all they got to hit is hit the throttle, and they're there. They're right there on point wherever what has happened. They're there to assist the driver to do anything they've got to do. You never had experience that, have you?
Yeah, a couple of times. Was in a really bad fire in 1997. It was a methanol fire here in Ohio at a lake just south of us. Was in the boat on fire for over 3 minutes, and the rescue team pulled me out. I was unconscious when they got to me. Man. But I'll tell you, these guys, they're highly prepared. Kenny and his team probably set the bar for everybody else in the country. I take comfort in knowing that if something happens to me out on the water, I'm only seconds away from getting any medical attention, having experienced divers come and help me get out if I'm not already out. We've got the best in the country right there in Region 4. So as an added comfort level, I know that when I come to Hampton, I'm going to be well taken care of.
That's right, because we want to take care of you because you are our friends and family out there on that water. Folks see these drivers go by, and it's just not an obscure boat or an anonymous driver. We know y'all know us, and we're family. And that's an important thing to point out about this event on all sides. The spectator bridge over in the pits, we've got multi-generational spectators coming out. They're bringing their kids, they're bringing their grandkids to watch the event. And on the other side, you've got grandkids racing and their grandfather saying, well, here, we're doing this with the boat this time. Or because this is what I did back in 19 whatever. And that experience carries through, and you can see the difference. I mean, I know with the skip, there's a particular skip driver, Jimmy Stewart. His dad was a driver. He drives. His daughter's now driving, Courtney. She was a points champion a couple years ago. We have Caitlin Shaw, who was on sports with us a few weeks ago. Her whole family is just heavily involved in the APBA. This is a family-involved sport like no other, I like to say. We just see that up and down the bridge with the kids coming in. We've got a kids area down at the other end while we're talking about that. We do have a car show on the bridge. We'll have the grandstands on the bridge as well as at turn 1, so anybody wants to see that over there in a little shadier area. We'll have plenty of food trucks out there. We'll have barbecue, we'll have pizza, we'll have seafood, hamburgers, hot dogs, that kind of thing. Of course, we have M. Price out there doing what they need to do for us, and we have Coca-Cola.
I want to ask you one question, Tony. This is Greg Bicouvaris, the host of the show, and with my good friend Kraig Cole. You're from Columbus, Ohio State. What do you think so far? They beat Army last week. What are people talking about in Columbus?
Well, the Buckeyes, they're our pro team that we don't have. There's a ton of talent. I think this year with some of the coaching changes that have been made, it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to take a little while for the coaches to actually coach the kids up, get used to what they're able to do. We're very hopeful. I mean, of course, we always like to think that the Buckeyes, if we lose a game, the world's come to an end. But there's a lot of talent there, and there are good coaches there. I just think it's going to take some time. I don't want to sit here and armchair quarterback what should have happened or what is going to happen, but there's a lot of talent on that team, and hopefully these kids will find their way.
Yeah, my mom went to Ohio State, and parents got married in Columbus. But all the best to you this weekend, of course, the Hampton Cup Regatta, September 23rd and 24th. Safe travels from Ohio. And thank you for being on Sports Scene today, Tony.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tony. We'll see you tomorrow night.
See you, Craig.
Very good. It's not just about Saturday and Sunday. It's an ongoing thing for your committee, but this week is huge because there's events pretty much going on up till the race day.
Absolutely. All the planning events that we have, we've done promotionals out at Langley Speedway. We do these interviews. We put the interviews together on the TV stations. We do have our commercials going out, like you mentioned, on all the networks. We really just want to get the word out because this is a phenomenal event, and it is free. Just come out. We don't allow people to bring coolers, outside beverages, drinks, that kind of thing, unless you have a diaper bag for a child or special dietary needs. There's all those do's and don'ts out on the website, HamptonCupRegatta.com. Please and do visit our sponsors page there. There's too many to go through right here, except for one very special one, and that is the City of Hampton and the Convention and Visitors Bureau over there, Mary Fougere and Ryan Downey and Jessica and Leslie. There's a whole host of folks over there. Brooks, their whole team helps us put on these events, and we can't do it without them. And it is very special because to me, for this event too, for a second, I'm gonna gush for a second. I was born and raised in Hampton. I live in Hampton, and I am very proud of this event. And when I hear these guys like Tony talk about how welcome they're feeling, they come down, it just warms my heart to hear that because it tells me I'm doing something right. We're doing something right. And this is a huge team that puts this event on, and we all work our butts off all year long.
And you and Langley Speedway are two of the biggest traditions, not only in Hampton, but the entire state, in the Mid-Atlantic, and the Commonwealth throughout the country.
Yeah, because this is our 92nd run, and we have been running continuously since 1926. And no other event can say that of any type in the country that we know of. You have some out there that started earlier than us, but they had a break in time for whatever reason, but we never have.
All right. Very good. We'll come back with Kraig Cole. Don't forget CP Shuckers is a local tradition. They got locations on Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Delicious food. Great place to watch Major League Baseball, the Major League Baseball postseason, NASCAR, of course, college football, the NFL. Like both locations on Facebook. Log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Great appetizers, food, and desserts at both locations. All right, we'll take a short break. Come back with some music after these messages. Mark your calendar for October 19th through 21st as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church presents the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, an indoor event inside the Hellenic Center. Enjoy Greek food, beverages, desserts, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more in a most pleasing atmosphere. Located on 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on I-64 with free admission and parking. Log on to NewportNewsGreekFestival.org. See you October 19th through 21st for the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedoors.com. Stay dry, my friends.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
In the morning I'll be gone, but thank you for everything. I've got to get my shoes back on so I can free myself. You see, I'm not that
Joe
strong.
Daniel, this music is so good, I think it'll make the cut for the YouTube. It's so good. And I think we need to keep this music. It's good.
I think so too.
All right, my friend, and tell us more about it.
This is music by Drew Ballantyne and The Other Medicine. They're the folks that are going to be out there playing for us Friday night at Ouzelfinch Craft Brewery, 81 Patch Road, and they're supposed to take the stage about 6:30. They're awesome. They're local, and they came highly recommended from April Allen over at Langley Speedway. Again, always like to tie where our connections come in at, and I'm very thankful that she put us together.
Excellent music. All right, our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings watch all the college football, NFL, baseball there. It's getting heated up. Sorry, Orioles, I don't think you're going to make the postseason, but anybody else can watch it, of course, at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Great appetizers, excellent wings, boneless and traditional as well, salads, appetizers, burgers, wraps and sandwiches, and desserts, as well as stuff for the kids, too. And, of course, takeout. They do a big party menu as well. Of course, great lunch specials daily. Buffalo Wild Wings, delicious sides, appetizers, beverages as well. Wings, beer, and sports at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News, right next to Patrick Henry Mall. You can't miss it, right there on Jefferson Avenue. And, of course, they are good friends of 92.5 FM, 1650 AM, and their phone number is 249-3999. Let's get to what tees me off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
And we'll let our featured guest, of course, in the second half hour, say what tees him off.
I guess folks who think they're entitled, the people who think they're entitled without any kind of hard work. There's no free handout. There's nothing free. You got to work for what you want.
Yeah, look at you this week during the final week before the regatta. You're grinding this week.
This last month, I've had some every night. And this week especially, I actually take this week off from my work at Shipyard in Newport News so I can take care of all the last-minute things. And, we work hard all year long.
You can see running errands is a full-time job.
It is. One day it was nothing but that.
All right, what else tees me off? Everywhere you go, you see panhandlers, and they're not legitimate, folks. Don't give money to them because they're not legitimate homeless people. Give to a charity, give to an organization, give to a legitimate cause. Don't be suckered by panhandlers, Joe Daniel. They're everywhere.
I agree, and I actually just read an article where I think it was in Newport News.
Hampton.
Yeah, where an ordinance that said that essentially they are motivating people to not give.
Yeah, they've actually posted signs all around town that says don't encourage panhandling. There's city and local organizations help, and they give a phone number.
Right.
And I think I did read an article somewhere that said only 1 in 5 people out there are legit.
Wow.
Yeah. All the rest of them are scammers.
If that. All right, what else tees me off? Dragging your feet. When you're walking down, let's say, a busy big box store, you can hear the person dragging their shoes making noise.
Or squeaking them.
Yes.
Like squeaky shoes when you walk.
How about this expression? Oh, they're like family. Well, if they're like family, what is your family like then? You know, I mean, your family should be number one, and you hear the expression, they're like family. Well, you're not related. What is your family like?
It's probably well accepting if you're going to just invite people into your family.
What else tees me off? When you go somewhere, you don't see enough electrical outlets.
Yeah, especially nowadays with the technology in your phones. How many of us have been walking around and your phone's like down to 10%? It's like, oh, where can I plug in at? That kind of thing. I carry an extra battery pack with me in the car.
There you go. How about this? Feeder lanes on roads, like around Laskin Road. We've talked about it before. 3 or 4 lanes just to get to the main road because you have to get on, like you've seen Laskin Road before in Virginia Beach. It's very difficult there by First Colonial.
Yeah, if you miss one of those ramps, you're done. Yeah, you got to loop all the way back around. And I remember when Mercury Boulevard had the service roads, and they were horrible.
Right. And, of course, we always talk about the tolls from Norfolk to Portsmouth, Portsmouth to Norfolk. The one thing I got to say, from Yorktown to Gloucester, it's pretty consistent. They don't double charge people, but Norfolk to Portsmouth and Portsmouth to Norfolk, we've said it continuously on the show, has been a nightmare, and nobody should get a bill that they're not responsible for.
Yeah, I really dislike tolls. I don't understand them. I really just... That's my personal opinion. You know, I understand how some people may think that they're necessary. I don't see the necessity in them, and I'm completely against them.
I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah.
The folks who use a tunnel, okay, let's help pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to plug Outback, and of course, to get Craig's final thoughts here. Thank you for what teased me off. For more, go to gjbtv.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Outback Steakhouse at 1255 Fordham Drive in Kempsville. Delicious burgers, steaks, seafood, pasta, great appetizers, excellent wings too. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Don't miss a deal. Don't miss a meal. Great bold seasonings, all types of specials. They got rewards as well. Outback Steakhouse. Go by and see Mike and the friendly staff for lunch and dinner in their beautiful, spacious dining room in Kempsville and Virginia Beach. 1255 Fordham Drive. Phone number is 523-4832. Watch the big game. Watch sporting events at Outback Steakhouse. Get a great burger, fries, salad, steak, whatever you want, ribs and chicken. It's all at Outback in Virginia Beach, though, at Kempsville Road. All right, final thoughts. It's here. You're right here. It's game time.
Final thoughts or takeaways are Friday night, Ouzel's Finch Craft Brewery, 6 p.m., 81 Patch Road. Racing starts Saturday and Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Bridge opens up to spectators at 10 a.m. We've got plenty of food and drinks on the bridge. Check out the website for any kind of other information you may need, including directions. We're right there in Mill Creek beside Fort Monroe.
And it goes on to how long Saturday and Sunday?
Till about 4 or 5 p.m. It all depends on our boat count and our field, and we'll race them as long as we got them.
Very good. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. The Hampton Cup Regatta going on Saturday and Sunday. Perfect weather at Fort Monroe. Free admission since 1926. The oldest continuous running powerboat event in the country. You're proud of that?
Absolutely. We are proud of it.
Very good. I want to thank Joe Daniel and, of course, Kraig Cole. Also, Miss Vicki Trexler for joining us. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Tell your friends about Sports Scene. I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.